giving up is hard to do.
Hi everybody, it's Chelsea and today we are going to be talking about where to camp. So I'm going to go over state and national parks, BLM, pilots, Walmarts, free camping, and KOAs. I'll be talking about what you're going to get out of all of these places, whether or not they are safe, and what you can expect in a price range for those places. So as a lot of you guys know, I've been traveling full-time for about 7 months now, and I am not taking my time in each location. I have moved around a lot. When I first started this trip, I kind of anticipated being in a place for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time, really getting to know that area and then moving on. However, it has not worked that way for me. I think my average amount of time in one particular place is about 3 or 4 days. That being said, I have camped in a lot of different places, and I want to go over those trends and what to expect out of those places with you. So let's start with state and national parks. These are probably my personal favorite places to stay just because of the beauty that you get when you are in these places. The campgrounds are usually larger, so you have more space in between campgrounds and campsites. You are not right up against your neighbors, which is really nice because it feels like you really have your own space in your own little yard. I've noticed that a lot of state parks have campgrounds with hookups and national parks don't really have campgrounds with hookups. However, it's all up to your preference. I have a generator that I use when I don't have hookups, so it really doesn't bother me to go dry camping. These places are also really safe. I genuinely feel like I have no problems when I'm there. There's usually some type of park ranger that is monitoring all the campgrounds and just driving around in circles making sure that everyone is okay. There's usually a campground host that you can go to in case anything goes wrong. Notice that in a lot of state parks I generally have cell phone service, so if anything happens I can get in touch with people. However, in national parks I've noticed that I really don't get a lot of cell phone service. The thing about state and national parks is that you're not going to have the amenities that KOAs offer. Most of the time you're going to get bathrooms and maybe showers. And that's it. Showers usually cost a couple quarters if you want to take a shower. I've seen pretty expensive ones. I've seen 6 quarters for 5 minutes. I've seen 2 quarters for 3 minutes. So just make sure that you have quarters on you if you are staying in these kinds of places because you probably will need them if you want to shower. The bathrooms are not going to be pristine. They'll be relatively good, but you're probably not going to see any mirrors in there. For state and national parks, I've noticed that the prices are pretty good. Usually around $20 a night with no hookups. The only downside is that they do limit the amount of days that you can stay there consecutively. So the next branch of places to stay would be KOAs or privately owned RV parks. So these are the places that you're going to stay that have all the amenities. You're going to have showers that are really nice. You're going to have bathrooms that are really nice. You're going to have a laundromat. There's probably going to be Wi-Fi. You're probably going to have at least partial hookups being water and electricity. There's usually a dump station. If it's not directly at your site, there is one there. But that being said, you're probably going to pay a little bit more money to stay in these places. These also are really safe, and I've noticed that some of them even have gates that shut at a specific hour where you can get out if you absolutely need to, but you might not be able to get back in unless they give you a gate code, which a lot of KOAs have given me gate codes. Prices at KOAs vary greatly. I am currently at a KOA where I am paying $28 for the night for full hookups, which really is not terrible considering the state parks around me right now with dry camping cost more money than that. The only bad thing about KOAs and RV parks is that you are kind of squished up next to your neighbor. I can look out my window right now and tell you that the camper next to me is probably about 5 or 6 feet away. So you're really backed up close to people. Also, the variability of price changes a lot for KOAs too, whether or not you have partial or full hookups, and whether or not it is a back-in or a pull-through site. I generally go for back-in sites that have partial hookups because those are the cheapest that you're going to get in KOAs. Pull-through sites obviously are a lot easier to get into, so they cost a little bit more, and obviously full hookups being water, electric, and sewer, and sometimes cable are going to be more expensive as well. Now let's get to the free camping. So I personally don't like to pay for places if I am arriving there really late in the day, especially if I'm only staying for one night, because the whole point to me of getting a place and paying for it is so that I can unhook the car, leave the camper there, and go explore. So if I'm getting somewhere really late in the day, I don't want to pay for anything because I'm not going to unhitch. I'm not going to have time to explore anything. I'm probably just driving through that town. So what I'm going to do is look for a free place to stay. The first thing I always think of when I'm looking for a free place to stay for the night is Walmarts. There are a lot of Walmarts in the country that allow you to stay overnight. That being said, there are also a handful that will not allow for overnight parking. But you can just do a really quick Google search or call the actual Walmart that you're planning to stay in and just see whether or not they allow it. I've stayed in a couple of Walmart parking lots, and I think I've only been really sketched out one time. I think it's just something that you have to get used to. There's usually other RVs and campers or vans there that are also staying the night, so if you park in the garden section where they all are, you're probably going to be fine. The biggest thing is that you have to get used to people going in and out and driving by you and talking and walking around outside your camper through the entire night. Walmarts are generally open 24 hours a day, so you are going to hear traffic going by at all hours. There has been an occasion, however, where I wound up at a Walmart that did not allow overnight parking, so I had to move to a Pilot or Love's Plaza. These are truck stops. They are giant gas stations that usually have some type of shower or lounge for truckers, and basically what you do is go to the back lot where the giant parking lot full of giant trucks are and pull up next to one of them. You are allowed to sleep there for free overnight. I would say that most truckers really do mind their own business. They are parked there just like you are, just to get some sleep for the night, and they are going to head out in the morning and they will not bother you. However, you always have to be careful with your surroundings. Know that you are in a truck stop and that sometimes sketchy things may happen there. I personally have not witnessed any sketchy things happening at truck stops, but I have heard the rumors, and I think the worst thing that I've seen at truck stops are, I woke up one morning in between all these trucks that are in rows, and on both sides of my camper, right outside the doors of the trucks that were right next to me, were bottles of pee. I know that truckers don't have bathrooms in their rigs, and I know that they are on the road for really long hauls, and I guess when nature calls, and they must just pee in bottles, which is, you know, whatever, do what you gotta do. But sometimes when they're sleeping or at night when they're parked to go to bed, they will just leave them outside. Another place that you can camp for free overnight if you are not planning to unhitch. Actually, let me just go ahead and mention that none of these places that I am mentioning that you can camp for free except for BLM land can you unhitch from. Do not unhitch, do not leave your trailer anywhere. So back to that place. The last place that you can camp for free that you cannot unhitch that I know of are rest stops. You will find rest stops every 50-something miles along major highways, and I'm sure you have seen them on the sides of the roads while you have been driving. There's bathrooms and vending machines in a parking lot, and that's about it. Park there for the night, it's free, be out in the morning, and you're good to go. I personally don't like rest stops. I feel like they are sketchier than Walmarts and Pilots combined. But I know that that is an option in case you ever want to stay there. Last but not least, there is BLM land. If you are caught up on all my videos, you know that I had an issue on BLM land. A lot of people have watched that video and said that I am just too scared, or that I am naive, or that I need to go home and just get my nails done. But here's the thing. In the video summary, I was staying on BLM land for free at a campground that was supposed to be locked in. At 1 in the morning, there was an intruder into the campground who was revving his engine right outside my door, It scared the shit out of me, and after I heard them pull away, I left and stayed in a motel that night. When I came back the next day, I found a pair of men's underwear on the ground outside my camper, as well as an empty pack of cigarettes. That was also maybe 2 or 3 weeks into this trip. I am a chick, I am small, and it was a scary experience for me. So me, I guess, for having feelings and getting scared. Regardless, BLM land is generally free. It is public land. It is a plot of land, usually in the middle of nowhere, that you can camp on if it is permitted. There are usually designated campgrounds that you can find. Go to freecampsites.net or .org. I can't remember which one it is at the moment, but go there and they'll point out BLM land for you. Even though a lot of places like that require a reservation, it is still free and you can go there. Just keep in mind that you may experience some locals that live next to that land that do not want you there. Who knows? They might try to intimidate you by banging on the gates or rattling chains or leaving underwear outside of your door. Just keep in mind that that is an option, but I personally don't encourage staying there. So those are the 3 types of places that I have found to camp. National and state parks, which I really don't mind paying for because I like the fact that the money that I'm paying goes back into the park and preserving that land. I appreciate that, so I really don't mind paying for state and national parks. They're beautiful. KOAs I generally try to avoid just because they are more pricey. However, every once in a while when I do need to do laundry and need Wi-Fi to upload videos and stuff, I'll just go in for it for a night. It is what it is. And for the nights that I have been driving long hauls and don't really want to stop and unhitch and pay anything, I will stay at Walmart's, Pilots, Love's Plazas, truck stops, rest stops, or dare I say, BLM land. So just generally talking about what to expect in each of these kinds of places, I hope it helps you decide on where you should stay. Just think about what your needs are and then pick a place that will accommodate those needs. Stay tuned because I plan on filming a true cost of van life, nomad life, vehicle dwelling, whatever video pretty soon where I discuss and break down each thing that I have spent money on and exactly how much I have spent. I hope that that helps you guys out as well in anticipating whether or not this lifestyle is for you and what you might have to do to be able to afford or just what to expect out of this lifestyle. I hope you guys enjoyed this one and I will see you soon.
Giving up is hard to do when you still depend upon